Brought to you by Bangkok Bank. Good morning, ASEAN. Hello, fellows, and good morning, Friday. It's TGIF for those who don't have to work on weekends. Well, let's begin with the SPAT story again, as the Philippines has recalled its ambassador to China for consultations, according to the Foreign Department saying on Thursday, amid fresh tensions in the seething maritime dispute. Ambassador Erlinda Brasileiro flew back to Manila as the Defense Department this week accused China of laying 75 concrete blocks on disputed territory in the South China Sea. Foreign Department spokesman Raul Hernandez also said that Brasileiro was advising Filipino officials on how to handle the alleged Chinese actions at Scarborough Shoal, a rocky outcrop about 220 kilometers off the main Philippine island of Luzon, within the country's internationally recognized exclusive economic zone. Philippine defense officials have expressed concern that Chinese block laying could be a prelude to building structures at the shoal. Well, the outcrop is about 650 kilometers from Hainan Island, the nearest major Chinese landmass. Asked if Manila would lodge a diplomatic protest or undertake other options, Hernandez said, "We are still studying the matter." The Philippine Foreign Ministry earlier said President Benigno Aquino had also called off a planned trip to China for a trade fair after Chinese authorities imposed conditions on the trip. The concrete blocks have raised concerns in Manila that China could be planning construction in the waters, as it did in Philippine claimed Mischief Reef in another area of the sea back in 1995. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Hong Lei rejected the Philippine allegations of block laying on Wednesday, while asserting China's sovereignty over the shoal. The Obama administration wants to restart U.S. defense training from Myanmar that was cut 25 years ago. While assistance would be non-lethal, some American lawmakers are resisting, concerned Washington is moving too fast in forging ties with the military, still accused of attacking ethnic minorities and blocking humanitarian aid. The administration has rolled back tough sanctions and hosted President Thein Sein, a former junta member, the White House to reward his heady rush toward democratic reform. But restoring military ties is particularly sensitive and viewed as one of Washington's few remaining points of leverage. Military cooperation was severed after thousands of democracy protesters were gunned down during a 1988 popular uprising in the country, also known as Burma, and an arms embargo is still in force. Myanmar has turned to China, Russia, and North Korea for defense supplies and training. But with a quasi-civilian government in place and national elections due in 2015, the Obama administration argues that talking soldier to soldier with Myanmar on issues like military justice and military-civilian relations can encourage reform and help the U.S. build ties with a military it knows little about. The administration has backing from Republican Senate leader Mitch McConnell. He's the most influential voice in Congress on Myanmar policy, and in August declared support for a modest, targeted military-to-military relationship. But other lawmakers are against it, sharing the concerns of activists who argue it would give international legitimacy to a military that has waged a brutal campaign displacing 100,000 civilians in northern Kachin state during the past 2 years of political opening. The Burmese military not only maintains control over the civilian structures of Burma's government, but has extended its hand as a perpetrator of human rights violations against the ethnic minorities that are sweeping the country. Well, according to another former U.S. chargé d'affaires in Yangon, Priscilla Clapp, she said standing on the sidelines does not serve U.S. interests. We need to reach into the organization of the military and help educate people and expose them to new ideas. So before sanctions were applied, the U.S. financed $4.7 million in military sales delivered to Myanmar between 1980 and 1988 and trained 167 officers at American military schools under the International Military Education and Training, or IMET, a program jointly managed by the State Department and Defense Department that helps more than 120 countries. Let's go on to Cambodia, as about 5,000 garment factory workers marched from their factory to Phnom Penh City Hall on Thursday, which is yesterday, demanding a raise and bonus payments. Workers from the SL1 and SL2 garment factories, mostly women, marched a route of about 6 kilometers to the city hall where they blocked the road. One of the workers, Lay Ratha, she said, "We are demanding 5 points to be resolved. 1. A bonus for failing to give notice of late payment. 2. Bonus for late payment. Fired payment. The last month payment and payment for the end of the year." So too many payments. And the workers currently get minimum wage of $80 US per month, but they're demanding now a rise to $150 per month. Their protest began on August the 8th at the factory site, followed by a second on August 12th at the Ministry of Social Affairs, and another on August 27th at the City Hall, demanding the payment of $150 US per month, but they have so far failed to reach any agreement. The workers also calling on the government to sack manager whom they accuse of standing in the way of a resolution. The president of a coalition of Cambodia Apparel Workers Democratic Union, Arth Thorne, said he had met buyers who also wanted the factories to resolve the dispute as soon as possible. Well, buyers from this factory want a resolution soon, and in case the SL company continues to delay resolving these problems, then they, the buyers, will punish this company through the regulations as stated in a contract, or finally stop buying or close the company here or all SL companies and overseas as well. So the factories employ about 6,000 workers, and the clients include major international brands. Well, garment industry, as we all know, is Cambodia's third biggest currency earner behind agriculture and tourism. The sector shed almost 30,000 jobs back in 2009 after a drop in sales to the US and Europe. Reports showed that the country exported garments, textiles and shoes to the value of $2.3 billion last year, down from $2.9 billion in 2008. More than half goes to the United States. Well, Miss World pageant is now a troublesome in the Muslim community in Indonesia, as Indonesian Muslim hardliners resumed their protest Thursday against the pageant. In Jakarta, the capital, about 1,000 members of the hardline Islamic group Hizbut Tahrir Indonesia rallied outside the local organizers' building. While chanting Allah Akbar, or God is great, the protesters, mostly women, waved banners reading "Miss World equals to Culture Liberalization Campaign" or "Reject Miss World." Protests were held in the Sumatran cities also of Medan and Pekanbaru, as well as Makassar and Sulawesi. Protesters gathered at local council buildings calling on the government to revoke the permit of the contest. With a local organizer, MNC Media Group said it was not possible to cancel the contest or move the venue, and that the government had ensured that it would provide security and protection for the event. Harry Tanusudijo, head of the MNC Media, said he thinks there is a misunderstanding. And he also said that he can assure that there'll be nothing but that runs against the culture, and he would not accept anyway also if there was a bikini show. So the Miss World organization chairwoman, Julia Morley, had earlier confirmed that none of the contestants would wear a bikini. The competition will be held partly on Bali Island, with the final round set for September 28th on the outskirts of Jakarta. The contest will not be different from other beauty pageants in Indonesia, said Budi Rasmanto, an organizer in Jakarta. The only difference is the participants. Rejection of the event has come not only from hardline groups, but also from the country's most influential clerics group, the Indonesia Ulema Council, whose edicts are followed by many devoted Muslims. Well, last week, the council urged the government to cancel the event, saying the exposure of skin by women in such a competition violates Islamic teachings, even after organizers agreed to cut the bikini competition and instead outfit contestants in more conservative sarongs. Most Muslims in Indonesia are a secular country of 240 million people, and the world's most populous Islamic country are moderate, but a small extremist fringe has become more vocal in recent years. Come back for a local story after the break. brought to you by Bangkok Bank. Well, apparently the Thai government is not doing well with the rising cost of living, as the growing public anger over the issue is leading to the unusual developments at the Commerce Ministry. A woman called the Commerce Ministry's 1569 hotline on Wednesday, one woman, and threatened physical violence against the ministry's permanent secretary, Nang Wachari Wimuktayon. It was disclosed just yesterday. An official manning the hotline desk, which filed the complaints or tip-offs about product prices, said the mysterious caller also threatened to splash acid on Wachari. Earlier this week, when she announced August inflation data, Wachari insisted that the higher price for cooking gas would only add 0.01 of a percentage point to inflation in the remaining 4 months of this year. She added, "It is just a perception that goods are expensive." Well, her words have been shared widely across social media in the past few days. Well, yesterday, the official website of the Ministry's Department of Internal Trade was hacked by a group called DZ4Hack, represented by a logo showing a penguin. The department later announced that the hacker had not stolen or altered any information. Public dissent has been growing since September 1st, with the cost of cooking gas, expressway tolls, and fuel went up simultaneously. The price rises come amid a high household debt level, which stands at nearly 80% already of gross domestic product and has encouraged commercial banks to tighten rules on new loans. Economic prospects as a whole are also poor, with the export sector generating 70% of GDP suffering from weak global demand. Foreign investors have added to the woes by withdrawing massive funds from the Thai capital market. According to Wachira Kuntawitep, Assistant Director of the University of the Thai Chamber of Commerce's Economic and Business Forecasting Center, said that consumers were extremely concerned over the rising cost of living. According to a survey taken by the center, about 50% of respondents have not yet been affected by the rising household fuel price, but they expect to feel its impacts within the next month. Overall, about 62% of respondents said they would be affected by the rising cost of cooking gas, electricity, and expressway tolls. Let's take a look at the Vietnam situation on the rubber industry, as the country has invited Indian rubber makers to invest in the Southeast Asian nation and benefit from the vibrant natural rubber sector in Vietnam. Currently, Vietnam consumes only 15% of the more than 9 lakh tons of rubber produced in the country. A delegation of Vietnam Rubber Association led by Mr. Chairman Tran Ngoc Tuan visited India recently and held talks with the leading members of All India Rubber Industries Association. Of course, India is one of the largest importers of rubber from Vietnam. In fact, Vietnam has emerged as the second largest exporter of NR to India after Indonesia. Vietnam's rubber exports to India jumped to 5,172 tons in 2012 to 2013, from 28,113 tons back the year earlier, representing a 82.38% increase. Vietnam is fast emerging as a leading producer of natural rubber. The productivity of rubber in Vietnam at 1,707 kilogram per hectare is only second to India's top-ranking productivity of 1,823 kilogram per hectare, and is much higher than average of 1,442 kilogram per hectare average in Association of Natural Rubber Producing Countries. According to Niraj Thakkar, president of the AIRIA, Vietnam has planned a major fillip to its domestic rubber manufacturing and has targeted 1.2 million tons of rubber production, an increase in domestic consumption from current 15% to 40%. Of course, Vietnam has asked for strengthening business ties with Indian rubber industry and help scale up rubber manufacturing in Vietnam. Vietnam Rubber Group has developed many industrial parks, and the chairman invited Indian rubber products manufacturers to Vietnam for closer ties in setting up rubber manufacturing units. Let's go for the Myanmar Focus Daily with Kun Nadi, as today the Thai logistic company expands into Myanmar.
Myanmar has opened up the country. Numerous business and investment deals are being done. Logistics and transportation will be significant in conducting business operation in Myanmar. Myanmar Focus Daily today will be looking at the procedures of a Thai logistic company that has recently tapped into Myanmar market to facilitate its Thai and worldwide customers. With 23 years of experience and agents in 177 countries, Leo Global Logistic Group is an integrated logistic provider offering international transport for import and export customers. Ketiwit Sitthisunthornwong, President and CEO of Leo Global Logistic, tells us that he sees the potential of Myanmar after going on the first business trip with Department of Business Promotion 3 years ago.
So I start to make the survey for my overseas agent first, whether or not they are interested to tap into this new market, and most of them said that yes, and they said that if Leo go there, they will support us. So after I got confirmation from my few of my major partners in overseas agent, I start to look into the possibility to set up a company in Myanmar. And first of all, the easiest thing is to go to the association in Myanmar, because in every country there will be an association for certain business, and in Myanmar they also an association called MIFA, Myanmar International Freight Forwarder Association. So we went there and asking some suggestion and recommendation from the president of MIFA, who should we visit, and at the same time we also get some recommendation from our overseas partner who also has some friend there. So I send my people go there to make a survey, make a site visit for almost 10 companies, and gradually we try to screen all of them, and then at the final stage we have 3 candidates that we start to do some business together during the past 1.5 years, and now we already got one right partner to start working with closely, and we negotiate and discuss with them that once everything is settled, we're going to set up a joint venture with them, something like that.
The president highlighted that finding business partner is the key in doing business in Myanmar. In logistics, the right partner needs to be fast in response and know well about what they are doing in the country. What are the techniques in choosing your business partner?
I think the most important, especially for my business, is that because we deal a lot with our overseas partner, the most important thing is fast response and with detailed information, because logistics is quite complicated business. So we have to make sure that our partner knows well about what they are doing in their country. They give us a very accurate information, and the most important thing is that they have to give fast response in the sense that, okay, whenever they receive inquiry from overseas, they have to reply within the same day, something like that. That is the very most important part during business with our overseas agent. And so far with our present partner, they fulfill our requirement on this.
In the expansion of the company into Myanmar, the main focus for the company will be Thai investors who are going to conduct businesses in Myanmar, especially in consumer goods, factories, and oil and gas sector. What are the strategies for the company in tapping into this market?
Obviously, we aiming to serve Thai investor who going to expand their business into Myanmar, and of course foreign investor, whereby we have our partner all over the world. I think that is the key strength that Leo Global Logistics would like to offer to our customers and our overseas agent, and with the aim that, okay, I would say that right now Myanmar, there will be 3 group of commodities that we are aiming is normally is general consumer products, which I think during the next 5 years this market will be booming and growing a lot. And of course with the future development on infrastructure and a lot of factories, there will be a lot of project and heavy lift cargoes going into Myanmar. And the last one is oil and gas, because Myanmar is a very rich country on the oil and gas natural resource. There will be a lot of new development in this area. So we are aiming at these three sectors.
So that's it for Good Morning ASEAN today. And of course, next week, my co-hosts, both Kun Weena Jongpasit and Kun Nirasha Marasak Lamia, will come back here and enjoy our fresh updates from the ASEAN affairs together. Well, I'll see you same time, same place, same channel. See you next week. สวัสดีค่ะ
Operation in Myanmar.